The following is a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about them Cowboys?
Yeah!
Go Cowboys!
This is Talkin Cowboys. Streaming live from the Dallas Cowboys World Headquarters at the Star in Frisco.
C.D. Lamb, touchdown.
Parsons has sacked it. Prescott keeps it, and he bangs it in for the touchdown.
And now your hosts, Isaiah Stanback, Patrik Walker, Josh Rodriguez, and Kyle Youmans.
It's a Talkin Tuesday edition of Talkin Cowboys presented by Black Rifle Coffee Company, live from the Star in Frisco, Texas, in the SWBC studios. Welcome in, everybody. Give us a call, 888-855-2297. Give us a call right now because it is a Talkin Tuesday, and we are going to talk to Cowboys Nation. We've got Patrik Walker. We've got Josh Rodriguez, Tommy Yarrish, Chris Beam in the back. I'm Kyle Youmans. Glad you are with us. Tommy, you're such a rookie.
Why's that?
That's your phone going
computer?
on. That's your phone.
What's going on? Someone's computer or something?
Yeah, somebody's playing 105.3 The Fan, the official flagship station of the Dallas Cowboys.
Get it together.
Yeah, I know.
Get it together.
Oh, my gosh. Rookie mistake. I'm sorry, Chris.
What a noob.
It's almost like we were listening to Jerry Jones on The Fan.
We were.
Trying to get the news and the notes. You thought you did, but you didn't.
My bad.
It's okay. It's fine. It happens to the best of us. Except for Patrik. It never happens to
Never.
Patrik.
Okay. I'll strive to be better.
How's everybody doing today? Everybody good?
Excellent, man. It's a Talkin Tuesday. We get to talk to the
is.
fans today.
My favorite day of the week.
My favorite people on earth.
Oh, yeah?
Day of the week.
Yeah.
There seemed like a little
This week, maybe.
tongue-in-cheek there. Here's the thing. I've got a bone to pick
Pick it.
with the fans.
Oh, boy.
Okay.
With the listeners of this
hear it.
show. I love
Okay.
the listeners. You guys are family. I love all of you. But sometimes family
ones.
has a little bickering that goes back and forth,
They
right?
do.
Naturally.
They do.
Even on a win like what the Cowboys had, 34-26 over the Commanders this
It's supposed to
week.
galvanize.
Yeah, it's
We're
supposed to
coming
have some
together.
fun. I saw some hate in the comments section of
Little bit.
YouTube yesterday.
Hate? For what?
Not for any of us.
Oh, okay.
Not for any of
For
the
once.
individuals.
For once.
For once, yeah, shocker. No, it was a hate for a nickname. A nickname that's supposed to be funny. That's supposed to make people smile.
Right.
Give a nice break to the work week or the sports fandom and just give a little chuckle here and there. There was hate for Turpy Speed in the YouTube comments yesterday, and I am not here for it.
Not having
I'm
it.
not here for it. Have some fun. Lighten up a little bit. Have a laugh every once in a while. Turpy Speed is a hilarious nickname.
Okay.
And it's not supposed to be a real nickname, by the way.
It's not a real nickname,
Just so you know.
for one. And, like, the muscle hamster existed. You know what I mean? That was a
It's a
nickname.
wild nickname.
The refrigerator
Yeah.
existed.
Okay.
Great
well,
nickname.
That's a great
That's
nickname.
But I'm
pretty
saying,
epic.
it's not exact.
kitchen.
The
Yeah,
kitchen.
that's a good one.
We got the kitchen.
Got
of
the
course.
kitchen, yeah.
I'm just saying, man. We're just having fun.
Just
It
Just
is
having fun. We're not
is
putting it
fun.
on a T-shirt.
It is fun.
we could.
We could.
And honestly, we should because it's funny. Because it's hilarious. Turpy Speed is, it doesn't have to be a movement, even though it is a movement.
It is a movement. If you check Twitter
is
during
all
the
over
game,
it.
it's crazy.
YouTube apparently
or Blue
is
Sky.
not.
But shouts to the fans that like get it and are having fun with it. It's not a serious thing.
It's not.
And then also, it's an inside thing for Talkin Cowboys listeners.
Yeah.
Correct.
That was a
Started
training
camp.
That was a training
And
camp
it was
thing.
a you versus me.
Yes.
And it was like, that was your thing.
And
I
even
was
you've
like,
given in
Yeah.
to it.
I was like, listen, just let it flow. Just let it ride. Because it's fun now. I mean,
It's fun now, and on top of that, it's like nobody's using. Sorry, Chris. No one's using the torpedo in the comments after the game. It's great. It's more clever.
I've seen my Turbo Turp, though. I've seen
Turbo
Turbo
Turp a few times.
I've seen Turbo Turp.
It's going to go mainstream this weekend, trust me.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Turbo Turp or Torpedo?
Chris Beam is going to cheat. Go ahead and tell him, Chris.
I'm not going to cheat. I'm just going to talk to my buddy.
Who's your buddy?
Kevin Burkhardt?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll say, hey,
right.
hey, Kev.
Hey, Kev,
I got
just
an idea for you.
sprinkle it
When
in.
he-
Do I
have a name for you to
When
use?
he takes off, I just need you to drop torpedo and see what happens.
Man.
I think Kevin Burkhardt Turpy speed
Bro,
would do
I would lose it.
unbelievable
That would be the
numbers.
I would
greatest thing.
lose it.
Unbelievable
And it would
numbers.
stem from this podcast. I'm
Yeah.
not even taking credit for it.
That's what would be epic.
It's a
about it.
Talkin
call him?
Cowboys original.
There you go. Yeah,
That's what
shoot him
would
a
be
call.
epic about it.
Yeah. Give him a call.
This guy says, "Am I the only one that thinks the Turpin nickname is corny?" No, you're not. It's supposed to be corny.
This is hilarious.
The Turpinate. It's like reading mean comments on whatever.
Mean tweets.
Brutally bad, not remotely close. Please stop.
Yes.
Other than
It
that
is.
fun weekend, and the return of the fan page, Turpin time. That's it. ...
I fought the fight, ladies and gentlemen. I fought the fight
And now he's
lost.
given in.
I
Not
fought
gonna
the
lie.
fight and lost.
See, but this guy gets it. Not gonna lie, I said Turpy speed when he ran the kickback. That's what it's about. It's supposed to have fun with it. So let's not get too riled up about a dumb nickname because
Yeah,
it is
getting-
a dumb nickname,
yeah,
but it's
getting pissed
funny.
about it
It's
is
supposed to be a laugh.
Yeah.
So I just had to get that off my chest.
It's the joke is always funnier when you have to explain the joke, you know?
Yeah, always funnier. But now it turns into an inside joke for not only those that were there during training camp, but from this point moving forward, you can be a part of the fun with us. So
Here's an idea.
Turpy speed.
Next time,
Or if
start-
you want to get on the torpedo bandwagon, and Kevin Burkhardt says it this week, just know that came from Chris Beam,
And that's
also this podcast.
Also a Talkin Cowboys original. Let's
Bang.
go.
I was going to say, or next time, tune in beginning in training camp, and you wouldn't be trying to figure out in November
We got a long way to go for
where
that.
it came from. No, I mean, like if they had tuned in
If
training
y'all were
camp,
real ones, you would
yeah,
know.
they had tuned in from minute one.
Everybody's real ones. If they're
Yeah.
listening to the podcast when this team is 4-7, they're still real ones. I guarantee
sure.
you.
But yeah, I fought the fight. I lost. It happens. Have fun with it now. Go forth. No reason to get all riled up and pissy about it. There are a lot of other things to be mad about.
All right. What do
that's
we
not
got for
what-
some newsy notes?
I got one.
Go.
We have SportsCenter's own Kyle Youmans on the show.
Oh.
Shouts to Kyle Youmans.
Hey-o.
I'm surprised you were able to fit in the
funny.
building with a head that big.
Or you could say
Those are
that.
great
I
call.
just stole Beamer's line.
I've had to get in it already. I get into the door anyway. So
Yeah.
It's not like it's any bigger. If it would just pop from that point forward.
But SportsCenter used a Kyle Youmans tweet in a graphic yesterday. Shouts to you, buddy.
As they should.
And it was
the
about
one-
the Cowboys.
Was it
It
the
was-
one that you did yesterday?
yeah, it was the one where I
I'm still not saying the
screenshotted.
name with Turbo Turp.
Yeah.
I'll take the L, but I'm not saying the name.
It was 13-9 with 5:41 left, and it was right before the Schoonmaker touchdown. And I screenshotted I was rewatching the fourth quarter yesterday before the podcast.
that tweet.
That one.
When
You,
you're-
you
this
quote
game- yeah,
tweeted it
yeah.
and said
And I was
mustard
like,
on
mustard!
it. I just put it out there and I said this game ended 34-26 in regulation. One guy was like, "You can't end 34-28 or 26 in overtime." I'm like, that's not the point. The point is the fact that there were 41 fourth quarter points scored, and it was just wild madness that happened afterwards. And the tweet kind of blew up. SportsCenter just clipped it and put it on some social
Nice.
content. That's all it really was.
Well-deserved rose.
I made
So when are you
SportsCenter.
leaving Talkin Cowboys for SportsCenter, buddy?
I got to get Isaiah's people to get me in that building first. He's out in L.A., so we got a little bit of work to do. Made it on March Madness last night, too, with a nice
Hey!
I
buzzer
did see
beater
that.
call.
Yeah, you had a good call last night.
Congrats,
It was
buddy.
fun. It was a good game.
Kyle
North Texas taking
adding
down Oregon
credibility
State.
to the Alphabet Network.
Trying
Look
to.
at you.
Trying to.
Look at you. Shouts out to Kyle and Scott Van Pelt, the two guys adding credibility to the Alphabet Network.
The only two guys.
So news and notes. So news and notes. All right. So Cowboys had a walkthrough on yesterday, obviously on a short week. So take all of this with a grain of salt, with the exception of Jake Ferguson, remains in the concussion protocol, unlikely to take the field against the Giants on Thanksgiving. But as I go down the remainder of the list, again, keep in mind this was a walkthrough. Cowboys are trying to manage their guys physically as much as they can with a 4-day work week. So DeRon Bland, he was limited. That's good news. Shows that he didn't suffer any kind of setback that would preclude him from taking the field against the Giants. Brandon Cooks was limited with that knee issue. Was it yesterday? I believe it was yesterday. Stephen Jones said that Brandon Cooks has a very good chance of returning from injured reserve on Thursday against the Giants. So that might happen. Keep that in mind. Trevon Diggs was back at practice, albeit in a limited capacity. So good news after he was ruled out at the last minute against the Washington Commanders with a groin and knee issue that popped up late last week. We got Jay Ferguson. He's gone. Eric Kendricks, he did not participate with a groin and shoulder issue. We'll see what that looks like today on the injury report when the Cowboys actually have a padded practice. Marshawn Nealon, he did not participate. We'll see if that's a setback or if that's just rest because that was his first game back. So it's likely just rest, giving him a chance to reset as much as possible. And for the most part, Awesome Richards is actually the headliner here. We'll get back to him in a second. Cooper Rush, Nick Vigil. All right, so Awesome Richards, I'll end with him. He suffered what Stephen Jones described as a high ankle sprain. More bad news for the Cowboys offensive line. The good news is that Stephen Jones intimated that Tyler Smith has a solid chance of taking the field against the Giants. So it might be a swap situation where you get Tyler Smith back, but you lose Awesome Richards, which, a swing tackle who has shown you some things in a limited sample size.
He's just a swing lineman at this point.
At this point, yeah. He's being moved around. So losing him, that's another blow as you try to get Chuma Edoga kind of ramp back up into the situation. But
it's also big because Tyler Guyton missed a couple of snaps in that game as well.
Continues to deal with that shoulder issue. And Zach Martin, we don't know yet that he will play in this game. So Cowboys offensive line just continues to be ravaged by injury. But like I said yesterday, Brock Hoffman, TJ Bass stepped to the center of the stage because they had a sensational game against one of the best defensive fronts in the league. And now they're going to be tested again when Dexter Lawrence comes to town. But they've seen Dexter Lawrence, at least Cooper Beebe has, in the first matchup. So at least Cooper Beebe has an idea of how to match up against Dexter Lawrence.
How did that go in the first matchup?
Cowboys won.
Oh, yeah. 20-15, right?
Yeah.
Back in week 4?
Dub.
That is a dub.
Dexter Lawrence is a beast, but...
Oh, he's an absolute alien.
I wonder what the pressures actually looked like in that game.
I was listening to something earlier today, and I think it was a stat from last year where for interior defensive linemen, there was a point in the season where the second leading pressures interior defensive lineman had 6. Dexter Lawrence had like 34.
Oh, wow.
And it's just like, how?
Yeah.
How? So, when you look at this injury report, I think what I'll be watching all week is the offensive line, specifically that interior. Patrick just talked about how Brock Hoffman, TJ Bass, Cooper Beebe, that interior 3 gave up 2 pressures last week against the Commanders' defensive front. That's pretty solid. I think the Giants, with Lawrence alone, give you a little bit more of a test, but another good point made in that they've already seen it this season. But TJ Bass and Brock Hoffman haven't seen it this season. That was Tyler Smith and Zach Martin. So obviously you want to get your all-pros back in there. Whether or not they do will be one thing. And then going to Tyler Guyton, there's another challenge out there with Brian Burns coming off the edge for New York. But when Guyton was on the field, he played pretty well, I would say. I thought he played one of his better games.
Outside of the penalty.
I think the knockback is the penalties, and that's something that has to be fixed. I don't know if that's a mental thing or technique or what it is, but you shouldn't have to make sure that you're aligned on the line of scrimmage as a tackle. Usually the wide receivers go over, give the thumbs up to the official, but Tyler Guyton played well, so this will be another test for him. But if he starts piecing things together and the penalties get better, then I think we might start to see that growth over there.
Went back to week 4 last time that BB saw Lawrence, and the only guy that could be in the fold up front for the Cowboys this week, but did not allow a pressure. However, he did have, over his 56 snaps at center, he had his lowest run blocking grade of the year and one of his higher pass blocking grades of the year.
So
it was kind of an
basically,
interesting...
so he was blocking well as far as pass pro is concerned, not allowing Dexter to get those pressures and disrupt the backfield, but had a hard time moving Dexter.
Yeah. Shocker.
He's not alone.
I'm stunned. This is my shocked face. You couldn't move Dexter Lawrence. Now that's a challenge, man. That's an absolute challenge. But I mean, he won the war in the end. Cooper Beebe, he ended up with the win, and he kept Dak Prescott clean. So, and again, we can't overstate this. This is a guy in Cooper Beebe who is transitioning to center, and he's doing it at the NFL level as a rookie.
Yep.
And he only allowed 1 pressure from Dexter Lawrence. I'll take it.
I think that as well, that same thing can be applied to Tyler Guyton to a certain extent as well.
For sure.
I mean, if you were to take Tyler Guyton's first-round tag, I saw somebody ask this question on Twitter, but if you were to take his first-round tag and the fact that he was a first-round draft pick and switched it with Cooper Beebe, how would you feel about their seasons and vice versa? I think we would be more critical of Cooper Beebe.
We would.
And we would be less critical of Tyler Guyton. Just plain and simple, that's human nature, first-round, third-round picks.
That's how it goes.
Of course.
However, both guys are making position changes. Both guys are taking a step from the Big 12 to the NFL. It's going to be a learning curve. And I think, like what Tommy just said, when you look at the film of Tyler Guyton, he's showing improvement, and that's what you can count on, because it's not like he's showing steady. I mean, it is steady improvement, but it's not like it's marginally worse than anybody else. Whereas, like, for instance, and this is just putting Mozzie Smith back on highlight, but Mozzie Smith was never good enough in the NFL to say, hey, that guy's doing work up until week 4 against New York. That was the only time we looked at it and said, that guy looks like he's worth the first-round pick. There are times when you look at Tyler Guyton and say, okay, I can see why he was worth the first-round pick. He's just got a long way to go from a consistency standpoint, from a technique and a penalty standpoint to get to the level that you anticipate, but you don't expect him to do it as a rookie. Not everybody is Zach Martin. Not everybody is Tyler Smith. Not everybody is
Tyron Smith.
Or
from Travis Frederick.
Yeah, you don't always have that level of success. You've had some good stuff from BB and Guyton. In a year like this where nothing is going right, I think you can hang your hat on that. The fact that you have 2 offensive linemen up front that are taking steps in the right direction.
Well, look at Tyler Smith's first season at left tackle. Like, I think
wasn't perfect.
It wasn't perfect. He had some ups and downs, and then it wasn't until he moved to left guard where everyone's like, move him to left tackle. Like, this guy's amazing. So I think you're also giving Cooper Beebe the benefit of the doubt because he was where he was drafted.
Third round pick,
and everyone's like, oh my God, he's a steal. This is great. And any of the mishaps with Cooper Beebe have been kind of downplayed because of his position in the draft.
And Cooper Beebe was also a gift. Keep that in mind. He was part of the trade package.
Yep.
He moved down. Ended up getting Tyler Guyton into the pick that they got with the Tyler Guyton. They got Cooper Beebe. So there's also that. But I would also say this. There's a lot to be said for, especially a first-round pick, especially a second-round pick, those day 1, day 2 guys. This is the longest football season of their lives.
Yeah.
Because they go from playing at the college level to the bowl game, if they make the bowl, then immediately kick into pre-draft preparation, right? So if they have an invite to the East-West Shrine Bowl, and then if they go to the Reese's Bowl, and then
Guyton was a Senior Bowl guy,
and then Combine, and then you go to the draft, through the draft, and on the other side of the draft, you have rookie minicamp, and then it goes from there. It's mandatory minicamp, and now it's training camp. At what point did they actually have a break? And I'll also keep in mind, and we praise Tyler Guyton for this, and you can't praise him and criticize him for it at the same time. When it either works one way or the other. We praised him for when he said he didn't take any days off this summer, right? When we talked to him at the beginning of training camp, he said that he was across the street with our good friend Duke Manyweather of OL Masterminds for the entirety of that 6-week stretch from mandatory minicamp in mid-June to late training camp. Preparing, but that also means that his body never got the rest. Yeah. So when you start to see over the course of these last several weeks, it's this injury, it's that injury, it's this nagging, that nagging. I say all of that to say, I fully anticipate if you take into account his trajectory, how he's improving on a week-to-week basis, when the offseason does arrive, I advise him to get some rest and reset. And when he does,
get healthy.
I believe his year 2 will be markedly better than his year 1. I think as far as the penalties go, he's in his head because he's overcompensating. He's hurting the shoulder. It's this. He's worried about making the next penalty. So then when you do that, you know what you end up doing? Getting a freaking penalty.
Oh.
So there you go. I caught it.
Yeah. Yeah,
Caught
it. It was
I
right there, Jim.
It was right there.
And on top of that, dealing with as many injuries as he's been dealing with all season.
It's significant.
Yeah, he's obviously gritting through a lot of it.
I think we're all looking forward to his second year. Now, this is probably a peek ahead at the draft show conversation down the line, but is it going to be at left tackle or is it going to be at right tackle for Tyler Guyton in year 2? All right, when we come back here on Talkin Cowboys, we will go into a Talkin Tuesday. Talkin Tuesday. We've got some callers on the line already. 888-855-2297. Be a part of the show when we come back right after this with more Talkin Cowboys.
Yeah, I don't know, Jim.
If you're looking for fresh American roasted coffee that gives back, you need to head to your local grocery store and pick up a bag of Black Rifle coffee. That's right, America's coffee is now available in the coffee aisle of a grocery store near you. Black Rifle Coffee Company is veteran-founded with a mission to give back to those brave men and women who have served our nation. Every bag, box, or can you purchase helps support that mission. Head to your local grocery store and roast yourself some Black Rifle coffee today.
Todd thought it would be secure to jog in the cheetah savanna. Todd believed the big cat repellent he bought online was reliable. And now, Todd is trying to be faster than this cheetah that can run 80 miles per hour. But the good news is, Todd has AT&T 5G that is fast, reliable, and secure. And he learned the best thing to do is stop running and toss her the backpack with the beef stew. AT&T 5G. Fast, reliable, secure.
5G requires compatible plan and device. 5G may not be available in your area. See att.com/5G for you for details.
It's the official men's skincare brand of the Dallas Cowboys, Jack Black. And right now, Cowboys fans can get 15% off their $75 order. Plus, because every deal needs a playmaker, your order will include a free 5-piece skincare set and free shipping. The Jack Black Playmaker is 4 of Jack's favorites and a full-sized intense therapy lip balm. Make a play for the Playmaker at getjackblack.com/Cowboys with the code CowboysVIP. That's getjackblack.com/Cowboys with the code CowboysVIP.
If you shout, "How about them Cowboys?" you have that undeniable passion that's the heart of Cowboys Nation. And if you like to drink Dr. Pepper, you love the unique blend of its 23 flavors. Together, your one-of-a-kind fandom paired with the one-of-a-kind taste of a delicious ice-cold Dr. Pepper is the game day lineup that can't be beat. Better yet, gather your Cowboys and Dr. Pepper fan friends to watch the next game and crack open a delicious ice-cold Dr. Pepper for everyone. The wins will be even tastier. It's a pepper thing.
Back to Talkin Cowboys.
Back here on Talking Cowboys, this portion of the show is brought to you by Quaker Oats, the official oatmeal sponsor of the Dallas Cowboys. Quaker Oats, trusted since 1877.
Buy your oats on the interweb using the Quake R code in the corner right over there.
Sick. For
Right there.
Rican
Yeah,
sick.
maybe a little bit further down like that way. Yeah. There you go. Right there.
Point at a top.
Get your oats
Quake R code.
on the internet.
Quake R code.
Oats on the internet.
Quakey oats.
Via
oats.
drone. Via drone delivery.
Yep. All right, it's time for Talkin Tuesday. We've missed you guys. We've missed the callers. Didn't get to do it last week. We're doing it on a short week this week. First caller, we go out to the West Coast. We go to sunny San Diego, California. Mo, you're on Talking Cowboys. What's going on, Mo?
What's going on, guys? I'm so excited to be on with y'all, man. You guys are like family. I'm listening so much to y'all during this rough season.
Yeah.
So I want to jump in real quick. Try to give like a quick synopsis on how I feel like we got to this point and what it looks like going forward, and then a couple of one last statement here about Team Tank, right? So when I look at this season and I look at how we got here, first you have Dan Quinn leaving, and he took two things: some of our players, our depth, and then he took the system, and we're built for that system. So once you take those players away, now you got your starters, but you got young guys and unproven guys behind them, and you're banking on your starters to be legit as they are, but then they start getting injured. As they start to get injured, now you have young guys in high leverage positions, which you guys were just talking about with Guyton and Beebe. They're all in these high leverage positions, and they're learning on the fly, and we have no depth because we lost it all when they left. So now you have these players in these positions. Well, we're struggling to score because we have always had a team that has had a lot of explosive players, and we score our points a lot of different ways. It hasn't been death by paper cut where you just march down the field, don't make any mistakes, 10-play drives. It's always been explosive plays, whether it was Tony Pollard, whether it was Cooks, even Michael Gallup, he's gone. He used to make chunk plays. We didn't have to worry about a lot of penalties because we've never been good with penalties. But when you score in 5 plays, you don't have to worry about that. And even on defense, you're looking at the pick six. I mean, Deron Bland and Diggs, they're like an offense to themselves, right? We're getting points from that. We're getting points from strip sack fumbles. All of that matters when it comes to how quickly we're like downhill on a team, and it's like an avalanche once we get going. But we've never been a team that just methodically moved the ball and scored. So when you take all those players away from injuries, from depth and everything, and from youth, that's why we struggle so much. But now you see in this last game, you get Bland back. Now Micah's back. You start to see Nealon come back. You see some of the young guys stepping up. Now you can see where the explosive plays come. Of course, you got Cavante Turpin.
Yeah.
And so now you see where we can score in a lot of different ways, and it takes a lot of pressure off the team to have to go 10 plays and ask Tyler Guyton, who's a rookie, to not make a mistake and not get behind the sticks. So I do see where this can help us long term, because we've had to play so many dudes in so many high leverage positions early on, and it's going to pay off at some point.
No doubt.
I really think it's going to pay off.
Appreciate you, Mo, for the call.
sir,
as
Mo.
always, he brings the heat in that regard
Mo
and in that
cooked up.
discussion. The only thing I think I had a disagreement with, because I think he's right about most of that, 95% of it. The one thing he said was this team was built for the system of Dan Quinn. Just a reminder, this team was, at least from a roster standpoint, a lot of these guys were already there when Dan Quinn was hired. The only real difference was Micah. I mean, Micah coming in, and then Dan Quinn took the talents of a lot of these guys, Trayvon Diggs for one, Micah in that draft class. He took the talents of those guys and molded his system to the guys.
Right.
So it was a custom system
DeMarcus
that
Lawrence
worked out
fits in that
great
as well, yeah.
DeMarcus Lawrence there too. Some of the guys at the second level at the time. I know now it's since then it's kind of switched a little bit, but yes, he took the system with him to Washington, and he took some guys with it to try and implement that system in Washington. But I guarantee he's doing the same thing with the Commanders that he did here. He's trying to fit the system to the players. And I think that's where my biggest knock early to Mike Zimmer was.
Agreed.
There was not a big mold of this system, of Mike Zimmer's system. It was more so molding the players into the system as opposed to vice versa, which is what Dan Quinn did. I think now we're starting to see, with guys coming back and with players starting to take a step forward from injury, you're starting to see that system mold a little bit to what you have from a personnel standpoint, and that's why the defense has played better over the last few weeks.
And I would love that because I was right there with you as far as Mike Zimmer's scheme. It was a whole lot of trying to force the guys to fit the scheme.
And it's still not perfect. We've talked about Donovan Wilson
but
a lot on
we've
this show.
seen and we've lived through the Rod Marinelli era, right? Where it was a whole lot of, it's not about the talent, it's about the scheme, and that's how you end up using a first-round pick on a guy like Taco Charlton. Sorry for the, I know you guys are going to have a trauma response to that. But when you talk about Dan Quinn, it was more about the players versus what the scheme was. It's like, here's my scheme, but if this scheme doesn't work for this particular player, then let's see what your strengths are.
Yep.
Donald was an excellent example of that, right? And so to your point, I do agree with that. I would love to see can we get Dan Quinn's system and Mike Zimmer's system in a lab and just get like this amalgamation of both, because Dan Quinn had it figured out with the takeaways and the pass rush, and Mike Zimmer has it figured out at the linebacker core, but Dan Quinn couldn't figure it out at the linebacker core. Now, injuries didn't help, but he also didn't place an emphasis on linebackers like Zim does, right? So can we just get those two together and sprinkle in some improved run defense and Super Bowl, baby?
That's what
man, if only it was that easy.
It would be awesome. That's what the excitement was in training camp, is because that's what we thought we were getting. We thought we were going to have a sprinkle of Dan Quinn and a little sugar and spice of Mike Zimmer in the science lab and piece it all together to make it something special at the very end. And I don't think we got that. We didn't get that. Well, I think still the end of the year coming. You can get to that point, but it's it's not going to be the same.
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No,
but
you're good.
I think part of the reason why, too, is we've heard some players talk about this earlier in the season where Mike Zimmer's scheme is one that takes some time to learn. You have to learn what your keys are. You have to learn where you need to be on the field. And so it's a matter of getting guys up to speed to where they feel like they can play the game at a high level, or at a faster level, excuse me, and just play fast instead of thinking too much. I think sometimes with this defense early on in Zimmer's scheme, they're just thinking too much. So you mix the fact that you've got to adjust to that, even with your veteran guys, but like Mo said, you've got to influx of young players playing now too. So young players, it's their first NFL scheme that takes time to learn and play confidently in. So that's just kind of this big mix of things that you've got to factor in with what you've seen with this defense so far. The good thing is they've put together a string of good games. I think this Sunday was their best one so far. Now the question is, can you continue to build off it? And they've got an opportunity to do that against the Giants on Thursday.
And the added problem is that you're running out of time. As we have this conversation, Zimmer is not under contract beyond 2024. You have 6 games left. You'd love to see that it's coming together, and we're seeing the adaptation to more of the Jimmies and Joes than the X's and O's. But I mean, you are quite literally running out of time.
And you're starting to see the players play in position now. When earlier on in the season they were talking about, Jordan Lewis heavily talked about players that were playing superhero ball and playing out of position and not paying attention to the details and not trusting the scheme and the system around them, right? And I think now you're starting to see that a little more. Like to see it.
Jerry Jones had an interesting answer today on 105.3 The Fan. He was talking with Sean and RJ, and they asked him about the coaching situation, and Bobby, asking about the coaching situation, and he was non-committal at anyway. He was like, you haven't seen anything in my body language. This is paraphrasing, of course. Anything in my body language to indicate what we will be doing at the end of the year, which means I'm not re-signing Mike McCarthy at this point, and I'm not moving on from Mike McCarthy at this point. There's a lot of football left. He's letting it play out, and he is not giving any indication of where he's leaning. I think we can all kind of infer based off of the earlier conversations what it would mean, how these next couple of games stack out toward the rest of the season. But interesting answer this morning from Jerry on The Fan. All right. Give us a call, 888-855-2297. Next caller up is Nebby in Silver Springs, Maryland. Our guy, Nebby. What's going on, Nebby?
Well, first of all, guys, thanks for taking my call. And happy Thanksgiving to you all.
Happy Thanksgiving, Nebby.
Buddy.
All right. Well, first of all, I want to say usually I just move on to the next game. But before I do, I want to say Commanders fans always say, we want Dallas, we want Dallas. Well, we beat them this past Sunday, so hopefully Commanders fans will learn of the old saying, be careful what you ask for, because you just might get it. I hope I'm not talking too much trash, because I know we have to play them at the end of the season. And guys, I just want to say that even though I am obviously not an NFL head coach, I would like to believe that I have a good knowledge of the game of football. So therefore, I try to have a coach's mentality. So I just want to make it abundantly clear that I am not a fan of tanking. I believe we should take things one game. I believe we should take things one game at a time. See where that takes us, and see where we are at the end of this season. I love this team. I love this organization, and I love everyone on Talkin Cowboys.
Hey.
Take care. Thank you so much for being patient with me, and have a great week. Bye.
We love
Thanks,
you too,
Nebby.
Neb.
I love it, man. I love it. Here's the thing. He's in Silver Springs, Maryland. So what does that mean? He's in Commander's country.
He's in enemy territory.
Smack dab in the middle of enemy territory. And so what did he say? He said, I'm gonna take a break the last week.
Yeah.
I'm gonna talk my trash. But guess what? As soon as this game's over, we've got a Talkin Tuesday. Nebby's going to get on the phone line, and he's going to say, you know what, Commanders? You get what you asked for.
Yep.
Be careful next time. And then he was careful in saying, we play him again.
Yes, they play again.
Way to check the boxes.
Your trash right right now because they play them again and maybe it goes differently, which means it's all the more reason to talk your trash right now.
Sure,
fact is, they were the heavy favorites. They were at home. The Cowboys were up against every possible adversity you could have put them up against, and it was the Cowboys that came out on top. Oh, hold on 1 second. Somebody's calling. Oh, it's the Commanders. Potential fraud. So, the Commanders got what they asked for. They wanted Dallas. They got them. So it doesn't even matter if the Cowboys win the finale. The fact is, when the Commanders really thought they were going to run through the Cowboys, they got ran through.
I'll say this, too. Go ahead, Josh.
No, like I say, you don't see us after a win saying we want Washington. We want blah blah blah. Like it's just we're like John Hamm in Mad Men, where it's like I feel bad for you, and we're just like I don't even think about you. I don't even think about you.
Classic
rent free.
He made a good point there, and he's not a fan of tanking. Nebby, there's 53 guys down the hall who are right there with you, and I think they've made that abundantly clear
Plus
this
17
week.
On the squad.
And 17 on the. How many on the coaching staff? Like 16 more.
Got a lot more.
The whole building
got like 30 media members for sure. Yeah.
I don't know about that, but they're with you there, and. I'll say this too. Yeah. I'm not saying that this is going to happen because I don't think it will. But
say it with your chest.
But they've got a chance to stack some wins here.
Ooh. What?
They have a chance to stack some wins here. I know.
Hey, you're Dallas Cowboys media, buddy. You're not supposed to give us a chance.
I'm just saying they have a chance to stack some win here. Their next 4 games are all against opponents with losing records.
Whoa.
Whereas their last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 have been against teams with winning records.
Wow.
So, you take that into account. Again, dun, dun, dun. I'm not saying it's going to happen.
He's sitting in Isaiah's seat. There's no coincidence.
No coincidence. I probably won't pick for it to happen. Yeah. But the opportunity is there. And you think about this league alone, you have a chance to pick up 2 wins in 4 days. Mm-hmm. 4 days. I mean, that's in your division as well. So if they win this game against New York, you're 3-1 in the division. You're putting yourself in a good spot. Again, a lot of things are going to happen. If a lot of things are going to happen if you want to talk about that word that starts with a P. But it's potential. It's on the table. It's on the table.
So you're saying there's a Lance?
Oh well, apparently
Lance.
Not. Well, apparently not.
No, apparently not.
I had a. I'm going to read this quote from Wanye Thomas. I had a sit-down Q&A with Wanye yesterday, and I asked him specifically, "What's his take on?"
Did you ask him why he didn't go down?
I did.
I love it.
He said next time he will.
Yeah, I love that. He's like, next time I'll go down.
I'll get down there next time.
To sum it up, he said next time. He kind of smiled and he dropped his head a little bit. He was like, "Yeah, next time I'm going to slide. We'll do that next time." So lesson learned. But I asked him about what's the feeling when you hear fans getting pissed off at the fact that players are not tanking to help an organization get a higher draft pick. Here's what his quote was. Quote, "Our life is on the line. This could be our last year playing football ever. Mm-hmm. And for the people saying, oh, you should tank to get a better pick, what is that going to do for the people in this locker room right now, busting their ass to stay on the roster? For guys like myself, undrafted, busting my ass to stay on the roster," end quote. That is why. That statement is a perfect imagery of why players can't and never give a damn about a higher draft pick. Yeah. Because this may be their last rep that they played. They might not even be in Dallas next season.
Listen, I think in terms of media, I am right there at the charge of I love the NFL draft. I absolutely love it. It's one of my favorite parts of this entire job. I am not a tank-minded individual. I will not ever condone tanking because the draft is such a wild crapshoot as it is anyways. I mean, we sit here through training camp, through week 1, or through the preseason, through week 1, through week 5, through week 10, and we're all talking about these games, win or lose. That is the name of the game. Those guys have more riding on the line for it, win or lose, than we do because we're still here regardless. We're going to be here on Monday, whether or not they win on Thanksgiving or not. Either way, you got to find a way to push your organization forward. I'm just not of the tanking mindset. I get it. I do. I host a show called the freaking Draft Show. Called the Draft Show. I get it. I love having higher draft picks. I love the possibility and the higher probability of getting a dog up front. But at the same time, you build a winning of culture by only one thing.
Winning.
Or a culture of winning by only one thing. Winning. That's all you do. So win the games. Win the games, and you got some chances here. You definitely do.
Players are going to leave it all on the field. Every game, every rep is a job interview, especially when you're an undrafted guy or a bottom of the roster guy. Yeah. And if it's not an interview for this team, it's an interview for the other Next 31 teams. Yep. These guys have families, they have newborns, they have significant others they have to take care of. They don't care about your draft pick. No. They don't.
Neither does the coaching staff either.
Neither does the coaching staff. A staff that isn't under contract right now for 25. At all. What do they care about your draft pick?
Nothing.
So
tanking is never even an option. Not the case. There are so many people that I work with that have been on the draft show before and that have been around draft coverage that are they're sending GIFs on Twitter that are tank emojis of the one tank that's sliding through the snow. I've seen that a bajillion times.
Yeah.
Stop it. It's never going to happen in this organization. It's never going to happen on purpose. They may lose organically, but it's never going to happen on purpose.
Funny thing is people
it's totally fine.
They accused players of quitting early in the season, and now they're mad the players aren't quitting on the back end of the season.
Stop it.
Take a lap.
We've got an off-season to talk about all of that when we come to an end of the 17-game marathon. All right. When we come back, give us a call, 888-855-2297. We may have time for one more, maybe. 888-855-2297. More Talkin Tuesday right after this.
Todd thought it would be secure to jog in the cheetah savanna. Todd believed the big cat repellent he bought online was reliable. And now, Todd is trying to be faster than this cheetah that can run 80 miles per hour. But the good news is, Todd has AT&T 5G that is fast, reliable, and secure. And he learned the best thing to do is stop running and toss her the backpack with the beef stew. AT&T 5G. Fast, reliable, secure.
5G requires compatible plan and device. 5G may not be available in your area. See att.com/5G for you for details.
They say champions are remembered, but legends are never forgotten. United Ag and Turf offers a winning lineup of John Deere equipment built to tackle any challenge on and off the field. Legendary John Deere tractors, combines, residential mowers, commercial mowers, compact construction equipment, Gator utility vehicles, and a full line of golf and sports turf equipment. United Ag and Turf, the official Ag and Turf equipment supplier of the Dallas Cowboys. Visit UnitedAgAndTurf.com to find a location near you.
Hey y'all, Matt Pittman of Meat Church here. With football season kicking off, I'm already gearing up to bring the smoker back to AT&T Stadium for some epic tailgates. But with that Texas heat, it's crucial to keep my beer hand cramping cold. That's where Yeti's insulated Colster can cooler comes in clutch. This year, you can even get them with the iconic star engraved on the side. Licensed Yeti Cowboys gear is now available at Stadium Pro Shops, concessions, and on Yeti.com. Check it out today. Yeti, official cooler and drinkware of the Dallas Cowboys.
And we're going to overtime.
Erica, how much have I spent on concessions?
For questions about their money, Dallas Cowboys fans can turn to Erica, the virtual financial assistant in the Bank of America mobile banking app. Learn more at bankofamerica.com/Erica by your side. Bank of America, official bank of the Dallas Cowboys. Erica responses may vary. Digital tools featured require downloading the mobile banking app and may only be available on select mobile devices. Erica is a mobile feature only available in the English language. Your chat may be recorded and monitored for quality assurance. Message and data rates and additional terms may apply. Bank of America, N.A., member FDIC.
Back to Talkin Cowboys.
Back here on Talkin Cowboys, this segment is brought to you by Invisalign, the official smile of the Dallas Cowboys. Tommy Yarrish, Josh Rodriguez, Patrik Walker, Chris Beam in the back. I'm Kyle Youmans. Glad you're with us. We do not have time for another caller, so unfortunate. We'll be back next week. Don't worry. Talkin Tuesday, every Tuesday, 888-855-2297. We've got our normal callers. Lately, we've had a lot of first-time callers, which I really appreciate at this point in the season.
Respect.
Give us a call. If you've never given us a call, try it next Tuesday, 888-855-2297. Just why not?
888
with your turkey and ham still on your breath, we'll welcome it. Bring it on. Bring it on. We'll talk about what your favorite dish was for Thanksgiving.
What's your favorite?
Dessert or just dish period?
Let's do dessert.
Dessert.
Is it the
for dessert, I'm going sweet potato.
Sweet potato pie. Yeah.
I'm going sweet potato
We already kind of hit that, didn't we?
Yeah. I think Isaiah was asking that. Yeah.
I love a sweet potato pie.
But he was asking favorite food. Favorite dessert. Let's go favorite dessert.
Dessert, yeah. Sweet potato pie would be up there. However, I really do like a pumpkin cheesecake swirl. Come on, man.
Interesting.
Get out of here.
Pumpkin cheese.
You look like
that sounds bougie. This is back to the Lego conversation.
That boy is good. Whatever you interpreted it. Tommy?
I feel like that's back to the Lego conversation. We're not talking about like a pumpkin pie thrown together. He's a pumpkin cheesecake swirl. A little swirl.
If you know, you know. Right?
Fluent.
But
I bet it's delicious.
But if we're talking standard desserts, it's going to be sweet potato pie every time.
You ever seen that? Somebody actually tweeted it after this conversation. The Homer Simpson meme where he's in Jules and he's just belly laughing. That's Josh, just affluent.
What's yours?
Hardly.
I feel like you're a banana pudding guy.
No, pumpkin pie is the classic. I think my family's gone more to cheesecake here over the last couple of years.
Fancy too.
Yeah, I don't know about pumpkin swirl cheesecake, but that's a little advanced. But
I'm just saying,
we like it. We like a good New York.
Find it at Albertsons.
Yeah,
Tom Thumb.
We like a good New York cheesecake.
No fruit.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
For me?
Yes!
That's mine? Come on.
Yes!
Got him. Beamer. RKO out of nowhere.
You know what? That's what I get for probably blasting his ears at the start of the show.
Yeah, you should have had that from the beginning.
I deserve that.
I was looking for it. So I was in the wrong menu. I'm like, dang it, I missed the opportunity.
So this is just 41 minutes late.
Yes.
That's all it is.
How did you say yours?
Yeah, what about you, Kyle?
Dude, I have such a sweet tooth that I feel like it changes every year. Like it really. Like, I love all sorts of sweets, and I'm really not afraid to say it. Like, I have the worst sweet tooth possible. This year, I've found myself really looking forward to the banana pudding. For real.
Let's
Yeah.
go.
I was literally about to say, I feel like you're about to say banana pudding.
Yeah, I made the joke to Tommy a second ago, but like, for real, like, I cannot wait to eat banana pudding on Thanksgiving.
Did
I cannot wait.
Did the wafers kind of kick you into that craving?
Maybe. It may have been. That was really good, by
Kyle
the way.
did the one
Mrs.
meme
Beam,
kid
salute.
where he's like, I'm going to say it.
Somebody
Banana
has,
pudding.
that's the second person that's compared me to that kid the last couple of weeks.
Oh, really?
Yes.
I'm
Someone
gonna
else.
say it.
I'm going to say it. I love banana pudding. But no.
I don't care that you broke your arm.
And my dad, my dad makes phenomenal banana pudding. I've tried it. It hasn't worked out. Like, tried to make it.
Yeah,
It hasn't worked out the same. He's the one that he took it from my grandma, and he's the king of banana pudding.
One last question, real quick.
Yes.
Lightning round. Favorite side? Go.
Baked mac and cheese.
Baked mac and cheese.
Same thing.
I love mac and cheese, but I'm gonna say green bean casserole.
Mac and cheese.
Ooh,
I love
bean
a
casserole.
good green bean casserole, man. It's good. That's another thing that changes every year.
Yeah.
Like all the time. It used to be mac and cheese. Before that, it was the stuffing. I love stuffing too. Like,
Stuffing
it's all great.
all day, every day.
All great.
Beige plates.
Love it.
You know what
I
I mean?
want zero color except for the green of a green bean casserole on
Beige.
my plate.
Carbs. Meat.
All right. That doesn't. What was yours?
Dressing.
Dressing. Okay.
Yeah. Like I said, beige
Love
plates.
it.
Like your Thanksgiving plate has to be completely beige with a side of green, you know?
Speaking of greens, my family always puts collards in the Thanksgiving mix.
You're talking about kale, right?
No, I said collards.
Kale.
Trying to get my,
by the way,
trying to get my
before
black card revoked.
we leave, tomorrow, of course, is a Say It With Your Chest Wednesday.
Ooh.
Here on Talkin Cowboys. The last time we'll be on the podcast this week.
Before the
we'll
game.
lead you into the game Thursday against the Giants. We're going to have the all-encompassing preview. We're going to go offense in the first segment, defense in the second segment, and then we're going to make some picks in the third segment.
Cheesecakes in the third segment, too.
Sure. If you want to bring the pumpkin swirl cheesecake, I'm all for it.
We gotta try
for
it.
the cheese.
Of course, that comes the day that I'm not on the show is the cheesecake.
The guy who's not on the show currently, to allow Tommy, can you please all tweet at him about the turtleneck that he is currently wearing on Good Morning Football? Just give your honest opinion.
Just take a look at it.
Dude, it's pretty significant. It is a change in his wardrobe. He has taken either a step forward or a step backward, depending on who you talk to. I'm interested to see
I'm gonna
what
say it. I
Talking
don't like the
Cowboys name. I'm interested to see what it is. I'm going to give him some flack for it tomorrow. All right, that does it for us.
Warm ass Nick.
For Chris Beam in the back, Tommy Yarrish, great job filling in this week. For Josh Rodriguez, Patrik Walker, I'm Kyle Youmans. We'll see you tomorrow with a Say It With Your Chest Wednesday on Talking Cowboys.
This has been a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about this, Cowboys?